at Africa development, the whites or the Western world have foisted on us democracy.
Yep.
But we are aware that democracy will only thrive in a place where the populations, of course, are highly educated.
Yeah.
Let us take a look at Burkina-Faso. I mean, the level of education in Burkina-Faso is not even up to 50% of Nigeria.
Yeah.
But now they are running a militocracy. And in less than 2 years, the development there has superseded the development of Nigeria of more than 10 years. Mr. Raf, do you think democracy is the way for Africa?
No, if you ask me, I will actually tell you that democracy is not working for African country. Because you find out that the British, the Spanish, the Portuguese, the French, the Belgians, they left us some 60 years ago. And they went back to their region, placed on us, I don't know what I understand, placed on us their representatives, which are African political leaders from their Western countries, remote in Africa. Remote in Africa, telling these political leaders what to do. It is not the political leaders, ruling Africans on their own will, but they are adhering to instructions given to them by their Western masters. I'm going to insert example. Look at what happened in Kenya. The Ruto, I think Ruto is his name.
Ruto.
If you look at Ruto, you actually found out that the British they have not left Kenya yet. Because Kenya economy degenerated to the level that China has actually decided to buy Kenya. And actually they did. They borrowed and borrowed and borrowed from China. And China took over the economy of that country, Kenya. That is what we are talking about, because if you look at the mineral resources in Kenya, we don't know today if Kenya is an oil-producing country. We don't know today if Kenya is rich in what? Precious stone. All we know of Kenya is, wildlife. I don't know what I understand. Game reserves. I don't know what I understand. A situation whereby they generate income from tourists. Tourism. Tourists coming from Europe, America, Asia, they are paying huge money. And where is this money going to? Nobody has ever seen Kenya of the modern time utilizing the money realized from, wildlife reservation.
Mr. Raf, out of curiosity, you see, most of this developed world also did not start with democracy. I mean, let us look at UK. I mean, UK to this very day practice what we call monarchical.
Yeah.
Don't forget the French also were one time they were
under Napoleon Bonaparte.
They had so many. They had various emperors.
Kings, yeah.
Look at Rome. I mean, look even if you go to Norway, Sweden, you have kings.
Yeah, it's true.
Who are still in existence. So why do they now come to Africa and tell us
about democracy?
They
rubbish our own monarchy, monarchical system of government, instill onto us democracy, and ordered us to become a federal state. And from federal state, democracy, you find out that it is the choice of the people, not the choice of the elected. I don't know what I understand.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is that they give us democracy, they rubbish our monarchy. The monarchy system of government we run here is by divine right, a heritage that God has given to some ruling classes, their families or kinsmen, and they don't contest it like through electoral process. No, it is a divine right of the elect.
So you mean if we were still practicing this,
it is better.
That means we wouldn't be having so much
problem. Yes.
Diversity, ethnic bigotry.
Yes.
Everybody would just face their
religious issue wouldn't have come in.
People would just face their kings and so be.
That's it. The modern democracy we have today that has survived mostly is American democracy. American democracy, I think, is almost 248 years now. They started their own democracy in 1776. The first president was George Washington. George Washington actually came nearly 4 times because he was doing well. And you should understand that American system is from Britain, because Britain is still claiming that they are the one that colonized America.
Yeah.
Though in Britain you have the Portuguese, you have the Japanese, you have the Belgians, you have the Spanish, you have the Italians, all of them together. But during the wars of independence of America, they only fought for the interest of one union, strong union. That is, America is for the Americans. But later, when Abraham Lincoln came in, that was when Abraham Lincoln succeeded on uniting the whole United States. I mean the northern United States and the southern United States. How did he do that? He fought hard. He stopped slavery. He bring the black, the white, every nationalist together. Nationalities, every nationality together, and they form one strong union. Today, they have the most successful democracy in the world. While Britain left Nigeria, Britain will make sure that a Nigerian president-elect must dance to their costume. They should be the one instructing him on what to give to Nigerians. I mean, the current bad government we are facing today is from Britain. It's due to the British. They had to control Tinubu. They had to tell Tinubu what to do. Failure to do that, they will remove him. And that is what they are doing in countries like Mali, Kenya, Malawi,
Uganda,
Niger, Burkinafso. You see what's happening in Niger?
Yeah.
Niger military ousted their president, because they actually know that France was in control.
And ever since they did that, we can
Niger
say that
is the best. Niger has come back.
The level of growth has increased extremely. Thank you very much for that beautiful submission, Mr. Ra.
President Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso is rapidly establishing himself as a unique and visionary leader in Africa, implementing reforms that break from conventional leadership on the continent. In an age where many African heads of state choose to present themselves internationally in Western-style custom-made suits, often appearing more aligned with foreign standards than with their native traditions, Traoré has committed himself to symbolizing Burkina Faso's cultural pride. This dedication is not superficial. It manifests in his attire, policies, and approach to governance, setting him apart in profound ways. At the recent Russia-Africa summit, for example, Traoré stood as a stark contrast to his peers by choosing to wear his military combat uniform, while most other African leaders opted for expensive tailored suits. This choice was a powerful symbol, emphasizing his alignment with his people's struggles and his determination to prioritize national pride over appearances. President Traoré's vision for Burkina Faso includes not only strengthening its economy and infrastructure, but also ensuring that the country's cultural heritage is reflected in everyday life. Recently, he implemented a policy requiring that all magistrates and clerks wear faso danfani, a traditional woven fabric created from local cotton, during official court hearings. This requirement is more than a uniform mandate. It is part of a broader initiative to embrace and promote Burkinabe craftsmanship and identity. Faso danfani is a vibrant fabric steeped in Burkina Faso's history and craftsmanship, woven by local artisans with patterns that reflect the cultural motifs of the nation. By mandating its use, Traoré is creating a national identity that is visibly represented in public institutions. Furthermore, this measure provides economic benefits by reducing the government's dependency on costly imported attire for officials. Faso danfani is approximately 5 times cheaper than typical formal uniforms, making it an economically sound decision as well as a cultural one. This mandate supports local artisans who create the fabric, stimulating the domestic textile industry and retaining wealth within the national economy. This policy aligns with Traoré's broader goal of reducing reliance on foreign imports and building an economy that is both resilient and self-sufficient. Traoré's promotion of Faso danfani extends beyond the judiciary. Last year, he introduced a reform that mandated Faso danfani as the fabric for school uniforms, with a phased implementation over 4 years. This reform aims to create a sense of cultural pride among students, fostering national identity from an early age while supporting the local textile industry. The reform represents a significant investment in the nation's youth, embedding cultural heritage within the educational system and encouraging students to value their own traditions. The shift to locally produced fabrics for uniforms also carries financial implications. With Faso danfani being domestically produced, the cost savings are substantial, and the revenue generated from production circulates within the local economy, benefiting Burkinabe families and businesses. In a bold extension of this policy, Traoré announced that Burkina Faso would no longer import uniforms for police and military personnel. This directive prompted the establishment of a new factory in Ouagadougou, dedicated to producing uniforms for students, police officers, and military personnel. The factory is a milestone for the country's textile industry, showcasing Burkina Faso's capacity to fulfill its own needs. Equipped to produce large quantities of high-quality fabric, the factory is capable of meeting the uniform requirements of the entire nation. By creating jobs and fostering economic independence, this initiative aligns with Traoré's vision of an empowered Burkina Faso. Traoré's commitment to Burkina Faso's independence and economic growth goes beyond symbolic gestures. He is actively addressing structural issues that have long hindered the nation's prosperity. Despite Burkina Faso being one of the world's largest gold producers, the country previously lacked its own gold refinery. This absence meant that raw gold ore had to be exported to Europe for processing, causing Burkina Faso to miss out on significant value-added benefits and job creation. Recognizing this as a critical economic gap, Traoré commissioned the construction of Burkina Faso's first gold refinery. By refining its gold domestically, Burkina Faso can retain a larger portion of the profits, create jobs, and exert greater control over its valuable resources. This initiative demonstrates Traoré's determination to keep Burkina Faso's wealth within its borders and to reduce dependency on foreign powers for resource processing. Traoré's approach to resource management also includes Burkina Faso's agricultural sector, which has long suffered from inefficiencies despite the nation's vast potential. One notable example is the country's tomato production. Burkina Faso exports a significant amount of tomatoes, yet it imports processed tomato paste, a practice that results in economic leakage and limits job opportunities within the country. Traoré saw this as an unacceptable discrepancy, and in response, he initiated the creation of a local tomato processing plant. This plant